sand in the land.
Is there something underneath I could put that?
I'll hold it for you.
I'll be over here. Or, I think in order it's like this.
Good morning, everybody. We know that many of you here are interested in an update on the shooting that happened last week in Rose Park. We are going to move forward with the regularly scheduled joint press conference first, but I want to let you all know afterward, Chief Red and myself will be sticking around for a statement and some additional information and take some questions on that as well. So please do not interrupt the joint press conference with any questions for that, because I assure you we will get to that opportunity a little later. For now, though, we will start with Margaret Bussey. She is the Executive Director of the Utah Department of Commerce.
Thank you, Glenn, and really want to just thank Chief Red for having us here at the Salt Lake Police Department. We appreciate the beautiful facilities that we can use here today. So want to welcome you all as members of the media, and also want to welcome the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office, our OPLR Director, our Office of Professional Licensor, Jeff Shumway. We also have our DOPL Assistant Director, Deborah Blackburn, who is here with us today, our Bureau Manager over massage therapist, Lisa Martin, and some other key DOPL employees here. And we're really grateful for all their work as we prepare to enforce a new law, which we're going to talk about today. We also have a couple of folks from industry I want to make sure that we recognize, because it's really important. We had so much of their input as we crafted the recommendations on this law. So our Massage Therapy and Acupuncture Licensing Board Chair, Miley Tao Roberts, is here. We appreciate them for being here. Roger Albrodt, who is a massage therapist, also part of our Massage Education Committee, and really was a key advisor during the development of this new law, HB 278, and also was a former board member of our Massage Licensing Board. We also have Tiffany Bork here from the Utah Business License Association. So all of these people are here for a reason, which we're going to go over right now. I'm going to talk a little bit about it, give you an overview of what's happening with this new law. Then I'm going to hand it over to Director Mark Steinagel, who leads our Division of Professional Licensing. And then, of course, he'll hand it over to Chief Brian Red from the Salt Lake Police Department. And then I'll close up and we'll go to Q&A after that. So, why are we all here? So the Department of Commerce's Division of Professional Licensing is about to start implementing a new law that was passed in the last legislative session, 2025. And it's really all about enabling us to pursue and shut down illicit massage businesses that are operating openly across the state in partnership with law enforcement. Okay? That's what we're here for today. So the stark reality is that there are, according to our sources, 195 of these illicit massage establishments in the state of Utah. Now that is far more than the number of McDonald's that we have, the number of Subway sandwich shops that we have. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about the scale of illicit massage establishments. And these businesses, they're not sort of tucked away in alleyways or basements. They're in our neighborhoods. They're in our strip malls, and they're often are advertising massage services with neon signs, confusing customers who might just want a legitimate massage. The workers that are providing these illicit services are typically, or to the clients, are often victims themselves. They're being trafficked and exploited by the owners and criminals running the businesses. And that's actually why we're announcing this today, because so many of these folks working in these illicit massage businesses are being trafficked. And as you may be aware, January 11th was actually Human Trafficking Awareness Day, and the whole month of January is in fact Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Human trafficking is a big part of what fuels these illicit massage businesses. So, but it's not just these potential victims of human trafficking that are the only ones harmed here, or the only victims, right? It includes actually the massage industry itself. For years, our Division of Professional Licensing has heard complaints from licensed massage therapists trying to do a good job who are being actively and actually sometimes aggressively solicited for illicit services, because people think that's what they might get when they go into a massage establishment. We've also heard from consumers who wish to receive a relaxing massage, but find themselves being offered a sexual service while lying exposed and prone on a table. These situations are incredibly unsafe for all and undermine the integrity and trust of an entire profession. So for years, these illicit massage businesses have been operating within a glaring administrative loophole. DOPL could only penalize the individual workers, leaving the organizers and the owners profiting from these establishments untouched. So this new law, HB 278, eliminates that loophole. And we are now able to shift our sights from the exploited to the exploiters. By extending new regulatory authority to the businesses themselves, we can finally target the true architects of these operations, the owners and operators who profit from human suffering. This law also enables DOPL to collaborate more effectively with our law enforcement partners and city regulators to shut down these operations. So, HB 278, massage therapy amendments, stemmed from a 2024 review and recommendation from our Office of Professional Licensure Review, again led by Jeff Shumway, who's here today. Some of the key findings of this report: while the vast majority of massage therapists do not cause sexual harm to clients, massage has the highest volume of sexual misconduct complaints among all of DOPL regulated professions. So we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people that are being regulated by DOPL. Utah's rules are also a patchwork sort of mess and vary from county to county and from city to city on how these can be handled, these kinds of illicit massage businesses. So when one city might get tough and shuts an illicit shop down, the owners just hop over the city line and essentially reopen in weeks. These traffickers are essentially using differing local business permits as a sort of get out of jail free card to hide their crimes in plain sight. So it was very clear from the results of Opler's review that we needed a systemic and regulatory change. And so in the 2025 legislative session, Representative Norm Thurston and Senator Evan Vickers introduced HB and passed HB 278, which was specifically designed to combat illicit activity and human trafficking happening in massage establishments. The new law requires registration for massage establishments and criminal background checks for owners and general managers, targeting the root of the problem rather than its symptoms. It also requires these establishments to attest that they are not doing these kinds of illicit activities. These types of establishments are not only dens of illegal activity and exploitation, but also they erode trust within the entire massage industry and detract from the hard work, dedication, and professionalism of businesses offering legal, safe, and healing massage therapy. So, HB 278, it's a critical step in regaining that trust and the protection of the public, which really is the linchpin of our mission at the Department of Commerce, which is to strengthen trust in Utah's commercial activities. All right, Thank you for being here once again. I'm going to hand it over to Director Steinagel. He's going to talk a little bit more about the details of the law and how we'll be implementing it. And then we'll hear from Chief Red and how we'll be able to partner with law enforcement to really tackle this problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret, for your leadership on this issue. And I want to say thanks to law enforcement, especially the chief and the sheriff who are here. We have actually worked for many years with law enforcement, even with the loopholes we have in trying to address this problem. But now we have better tools, so we're really excited about this. I've been hearing about this for a long time. I've been over DOPL for 17 years. It's been a long time coming to get accountability where it belongs. And often we've only been able to take action against the exploited. And we are very excited now to be able to have better tools. Some of the most important components of the bill include, as Margaret mentioned, the establishment of a massage, creation of a massage establishment registration. The requirement as you go through the law is pretty specific, and it's very difficult to achieve if you're intending to do illicit behavior, and yet not extremely hard to achieve if you're a legitimate business. And that was the design, to focus the regulation on the illicit practices. It includes criminal history background checks on all of the owners that have at least 10% ownership and other key positions in the organization. We have seen some data where nationally less than a third of establishments even show a registered key individual and less than a fourth an owner on any of the business documents. So it's been very difficult in Utah and nationally even to figure out who these individuals are. That is why we're very thankful for this OPLR recommendation to regulate the establishments. One of the most important provisions in the bill is the ability to inspect the premises. And it is a very strong authority in the bill, and in fact it's unlawful conduct to resist, to lock the door, to keep the inspectors from entering the premises to ensure compliance with the law. Often in the past, probably even more in the future, we'll be undertaking those inspections with the partnership of law enforcement because of the shared responsibility we have to address illicit massage businesses. We can address things such as advertising on sexually oriented websites, or using sexual devices in the massage, or being disrobed, or touching private parts, or many other things that are prohibited by the law. Signage. There has to be posted right at the front of the business the registration, the licenses of all the workers that are serving individuals, and information on reporting human trafficking violations and filing complaints with DOPL. That's one of the documents we will have ready on our website or in early spring, along with our massage establishment registration forms. There are unlawful conduct indicators in the law, a very robust list of unlawful conduct on the establishments. Housing or harboring individuals, which of course has been one of the common things we've seen in establishments participating in trafficking of humans. Locking doors, as I mentioned, to elude inspectors, refusing to provide identification, unlicensed practice or non-disclosure of services. As I mentioned, providers that are not fully clothed when providing a service, advertisement of sexual acts, and many others. So early in the spring this year, we will have the registration forms. We filed the rule that is under public comment beginning tomorrow, early this month, and it should be published tomorrow in the Office of Administrative Rules for a 30-day public comment period. And once that process is completed, then in the early spring we will have those registration forms. And during this time from now until then, we will be providing this information and other opportunities to help the legitimate businesses comply with the law. Again, I want to highlight, just like Margaret did, the upstanding businesses. We've heard for years the cries of both citizens who've been violated and professionals who've been violated. And we are very thankful for the legitimate businesses who stepped up and said, we want to help create this law and close these loopholes. They didn't resist the regulation, they helped us make it better. I've spoken with countless people over the years, and the vast majority of licensed massage therapists provide a good healing service to Utah's citizens. This law supports them, it supports us in our enforcement, and it supports law enforcement as we all work as partners to solve this problem and increase the trust in Utah's massage industry. Again, I express appreciation to our department leadership and the legislative help that we've had and our law enforcement partners for this effort, and let's get going. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Executive Director Bussey and the Department of Commerce and our state legislature for passing this law and putting these this administrative oversight at the state level into these businesses. And I also applaud the massage businesses who do it right, who came to the table as well to help establish this law and these rules that are going into effect. You've heard mentioned that there are roughly 195 illicit businesses, massage businesses here in the state of Utah. It's estimated that 61 of those are here in the Salt Lake City area. While we suspect many of these illicit businesses are providing sexual services, are trafficking humans, it's very difficult to shut these businesses down. We have detectives that do this type of work. We do refer businesses to our city licensing, but it's difficult to shut them down, as the executive director mentioned. They just open up at another location. The reason it's challenging is it's hard to get to the bottom of who the business owners actually are. Number one, it's individuals that are visiting these illicit businesses are not often cooperative with law enforcement. The individuals that are working inside of these businesses, the exploited individuals that are working inside of these businesses, don't want to talk to law enforcement. And then, the business practices just make it generally hard to investigate. Sometimes the doors are locked, and it's not always easy to get inside. And that's why we appreciate these new tools that you're seeing today from the Department of Commerce that are going to help us to address these illicit businesses and this illicit activity that's occurring. DOPL does act as the first line of defense now in licensing, and provides us also with critical information moving forward as we work together to minimize the impact of these illicit businesses. In addition to the information that we can now receive from DOPL, we're also able to refer administratively to the state businesses as we continue to work with our city licensing as well. So this is an amazing change that is going to be very helpful. And we look forward to working together into the future with all of you, with you, Sheriff, as we create a safe, supported, and accountable community. To the individuals who are working inside of these businesses, if you're being trafficked, if you're being harmed, if you're being exploited, please come forward. We have amazing victims advocates in our departments that can help you, community advocates that can help you. Please come forward, step away from it. We can help you. I want to thank you, and a message also to those who are setting up these illicit business activities: stop. We will hold you accountable. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Red and Director Steinagel. As Chief Red just said, we have now, right now, putting these illicit massage businesses on notice. This is your warning. Get out of town. Get out of our state. We will be working closely with law enforcement, also the local business permit and registration departments, because these businesses should not be able to get a business license to operate without registering now with our Division of Professional Licensing. So they're key in this new ability to take on this industry as well. And as Chief Red said, please, if you're working in these businesses and you are being exploited, come forward. We will also rely on the public to report suspicious activity within these businesses. You can call your local law enforcement agency, or you can submit a complaint to DOPL at doppel.utah.gov. Ultimately, this new law, HB 278, marks a critical shift towards a more professional, trustworthy, and safe experience by moving beyond individual oversight to a system of establishment accountability. The balanced regulation that this creates really helps to create a foundation of transparency, integrity, and safety, ensuring Utahns can confidently seek massage services and that people are protected. So thank you again so much for being here and covering this important, really, announcement to the public, an announcement to these illicit massage businesses. We are now open for questions, and I'd like to invite Jeff Shumway to come up here as well, who is over our Office of Professional Licensing Review, so that he can answer any questions about the data.
How often will inspections take place at businesses?
What we're trying to do is focus our resources on problems. So sitting right next to you as our bureau manager, our chief investigators in the suit up against the wall, and Lindsay down here one row ahead, they're going to be doing a lot of legwork at our office, looking for indicators when we should be focusing our resources on inspections. So I think if everything's above board, everything we've checked of all the components of the law, it's less likely there will be inspections. But if we're catching some complaints or things from other states or things that seem off in their registration documents, it will be happening more frequently with those.
How does this align with or differ from how other states regulate business?
Jeff, do you want to take that?
So that's a great question. There are a couple of other states that have similar laws, but they lack teeth because of resourcing. So as far as we know, we will be the first state to have a statewide establishment registry, which will be enforced. There are some local jurisdictions, which is part of where we learned about it in our reporting. Some local jurisdictions have done this quite successfully in Colorado and a couple other places, and that was really the model for us.
Is there any other type of business that can't refuse an inspection?
What was that?
Is there any other type of business through like existing, law that we have that all similarly can't refuse an inspection?
You want to take that?
One example that immediately comes to, well, I've got two that come immediately to mind. We regulate contractors and pharmacies, and both of those statutes have a requirement to allow us to inspect job sites for contractors and pharmacy records for pharmacies. So those are two examples.
What can someone do who wants to go for a legitimate massage? They go and they say, hey, can I see your license? They can easily print a fake license. Is there something more someone can do to make sure they're at a legitimate business?
Well, of course, part of this law is that there's kind of two elements now, right? Is both the entity and the individual, where before it was only the individual. So now we've kind of got two hooks in, where if they print a fake license, but it's much harder to generate a registration when we're coordinating with business licensing, we're coordinating with law enforcement, and there are a number of elements they've got to comply with. So I think that that's one of the best parts of this, is that it creates kind of overlaps in our checks. So from a consumer standpoint, I think it kind of elevates, or well, diminishes the likelihood that we currently experience under the past law, that you're going to be able to deal with somebody who's created a fraudulent certification.
Mark, to verify a license.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, the most important part is, of course, our website, Verify a License. And something cool that the Department of Commerce is doing right now is we're collaborating amongst all the divisions in the Department of Commerce so that the lookup feature doesn't just search one division, grabs information from multiple units for different entities.
So I think, just to finish out that, you can not only go on and verify a license of a specific massage therapist, but now with this new registration that will be put into place, you can go and verify, is this massage establishment registered by the state? Which means, again, they have attested to certain things, and DOPL can go in and inspect at any time. So I think that's going to be the number one tool.
Is there responsibility, really with law enforcement, despite this new law, I mean, to be able to hold these actors accountable for prostitution and human trafficking laws prior to going on the books?
I can speak, and then Chief Red. I would just say that what's great about this new law is now there are different hooks. It's not just the responsibility of law enforcement. There's now an administrative hook.
Yeah, it just gives us another path. We'll still continue to investigate appropriately criminal violations, and we will continue to refer those to the district attorney's office or the city prosecutor. It just gives us another hook. It's very similar to how alcohol enforcement is conducted in the state. There are criminal violations, but there is the DABS that law enforcement can refer to as well.
Are there other tools, though, that you need as law enforcement to be able to do what you want to do here?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what tools you might be referring to. This is a great step in the right direction. I mean, I think in most of these cases, what we need are for victims of human trafficking to come forward. I mean, that's the biggest thing. And not only to come forward to hold individuals responsible, but to get these individuals the help they need. People who are being trafficked, this is a terrible life, and they are under threat. They are being exploited, and it's difficult. Many of them won't even speak, English, and so it's hard to communicate in many cases. So it's complex, but we do have victim advocates, but there are also organizations in our state that do help victims of human trafficking. So I think the cooperation from victims and just knowing, like, we're here to help you.
Let me mention one other thing. One of the things that's interesting about sort of administrative law versus criminal law is that administrative law, we have a lower burden of proof, which makes it easier to potentially shut down something. Even if we don't have the evidence to prove that they have to go to jail, we can still shut down the operation. And that's what's important here. The other thing I wanted just to mention, because we didn't go into it explicitly, is that the reason we have these numbers, the 195, that number, where does that come from? Well, it comes from a national organization called the Network that actually tracks these organizations. It tracks these illicit massage businesses, and they go on sort of the dark web. They see where different businesses are advertising illicit services, who is wanting to solicit them, and that's how they identify them. And that's what's going to be so important about this, because when a business comes, if they want to come out of the shadows and register and attest that they're not doing these things, but yet we see them on this list, well, that can sort of trigger an inspection, right? Because we can compare the two lists. That's why it's so important. And then we can simply say, we're not going to grant that registration. Now you can't get a business license, right? So that's what's going to be important, is that we have that access to that information.
You said something about a lot of the owners are not necessarily from this area. Is that other states? Is that an international thing? What are you finding as far as who are the real owners?
Jeff, do you want to take that?
Another great question. Chief Red may want to answer this as well. What we learned in doing our review was that oftentimes it is going to be international groups, folks outside of the state, that are going to be profiting from these businesses, but there will often be a straw owner, and of course if they have to register, they have to come forward and name an individual. If there is a straw owner in Utah with a clean record who will go on record and support an illicit massage business, we can now hold them accountable, right? So either way, whether it's the actual owner who may be states or countries away, or a straw owner who is willing to put their name on that, we have them. We have someone accountable we can go to and shut down.
I mean, that was well said. The only thing I would add is just you know, they create these businesses, these LLCs, and they layer, and so it gets difficult to get to the bottom of who really is behind these operations at times. But this is a great step to start collecting this at the state level, so they can't jump from city to city and things like that.
Yeah, and the FBI check we do, the fingerprint check, is a national check. So of course that doesn't address outside of the country. But if they're trying to jump state to state, the straw owner or the actual owners, they should eventually be caught, or at least pick another jurisdiction.
Also, I remember you said there are over 190 of these illicit businesses. How many legitimate massage businesses are there in the state by comparison?
Yeah, okay, so Lisa, correct me. I think the last time I checked, we had around 6,000 licensed massage therapists. What percentage in your study did you find were solo practitioners? Do you remember that? I remember seeing something.
I don't have the exact number, but it's a high percentage.
A high percentage of those 6,000 are solo practitioners. And there are some things in this law that treat the solo practitioners, because that's really not the business model of the illicit massage businesses. So you're talking thousands of legitimate businesses.
And these could be people that maybe are offering their services on location, don't necessarily have an established business location.
Yes, and of course then there's the larger ones too that are also legitimate. But I just wanted to make the point from a numbers standpoint, it's very different numbers we're talking about. This is a small minority of our massage therapists working in those.
I mean, you said that the illicit ones are more than the number of McDonald's in the state, but we do have a high number of people doing this business as a whole.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right, well, again, thanks for being here. Thanks to Chief Red and his team for hosting us here. And it sounds like you might have questions about some other things, so we'll let that proceed. Thanks again.
Just give us a few minutes. Give us a few minutes and we'll be ready for the update.
Thank you.
That's where we're